Hi, math faculty. My name is Bob Blitzer, and I want to begin by thanking you for looking at the new edition, the 8th edition of Thinking Mathematically. Before chatting briefly about some of the book's new features, I promise briefly, I must pay gratitude to you for what I perceive as the Herculean task of teaching throughout the pandemic. I love teaching math at Miami-Dade, some of the best professional decades of my life. But when I think back on it now, I realized I taught pretty much in a utopian setting. I never considered the obstacles, the challenges that confronted you presenting math courses within a pandemic. I'm speechless. I'll tell you, your successful efforts have really made me much more prideful, increasing my pride in being called a math educator. Huge for me, so I thank you infinitely. Okay, now on to Thinking Mathematically, the new edition. One of the things I love about the book is that the chapters are relatively independent, which is very different from my trig books, my algebra books. So that means you can cover the chapters of your choice in pretty much any order. For me, that opens up a huge array of applications. I know I say this about all my revisions, but truly, this one contains more new applications than any of my previous books. Let me make that more precise by referring to pages 7 and 8 of the preface. That's Roman numerals 7 and 8. And in the preface and in those pages, I've listed all of the book's new applications. If you would bear with me right now to whet your appetite a bit, I want to just read some of the applications in that list. By the way, that list contains not only the new applications, but also where in the book you can find them. Okay, so the new list. Here we go. Mathlete John Urschel. LGBTQ tolerance. Living arrangements of young adults. Math jokes. Political orientation of first-year college students. Bob Moses, from civil rights to algebra. Blood alcohol concentration. Data with an emotional wallop. COVID deaths in the United States. Marijuana use among college students. Our hodgepodge presidential election system. What you'll find lots of data connected to the pandemic. Two great suggestions from reviewers. One was to augment Section 2.7, which right now covers logical fallacies in formal logic, converses, inverses, but reviewers suggested that I also cover fallacies in everyday use, in everyday logic. Great idea, so I incorporated that into Section 3.7. Another suggestion by reviewers that I thought was great was to use spreadsheets throughout the chapter on personal finance. The spreadsheets are optional, but may avoid some ultra-tedious computations. You don't have to use those, but I thought it was a great idea, and you will find those spreadsheets throughout the chapter. I have to, at this point, I want to echo my words from the preface because they still very much apply. I hope once again that my love for learning, my respect for the diversity of the students I taught and learned from over many, many years is apparent in this new edition. I want to connect math to the whole spectrum of learning, and it's still my intent to show students that their world is profoundly mathematical, and indeed, pi is in the sky. Thank you so much for listening.